with Disability Resolution PA. What we're going to be doing today is our classic 8 to 10 live. I'm running a little bit late. Unfortunately, the talent got into the house and to the shower and to the getting dressed and to the getting prepped completely late. So we had to go ahead and figure out a solution to that, which was unfortunately showing about 14 minutes late. Now, let's do the administrative upkeep stuff, little details, stuff like that. Our first sponsor that we're going to be talking about is new second wave masks. Second wave masks basically makes great health-based masks that you can use in any format. They fit really well. I have one over here somewhere, but I think it's behind the computer. Either way, oh, here we go. I tend to wear a lot of the boating traditional ones and stuff like that, but I use them all the time. I really enjoy them, and they're really incredible. The other thing is they kind of make into a cute little pocket square option as well. So if you want something like that, that's an option. Now, the other thing that we're going to be doing today is that there was a claimant who questions with me as if we were in a tough, mean, aggressive hearing. So if that claimant does show up, I am running a little bit late, but if that claimant does show up, I'll go ahead and basically run those hearing questions with the claimant in a very quick, very fast setting. So we'll be in that regard. Okay, so let's see what we're doing. Everything's connecting. Okay, good. Howdy, everyone. Okay, so a couple of little upkeep details and stuff like that. I'm going to check on what the dogs are doing. They're causing the destruction of the room. All right, so while we're getting ready, I'm going to go ahead and feed the dogs some big treats. That way we kind of get them off our backs throughout this entire process. Now, we are going to be doing a couple of little things that are different today than the usual. One big thing is that we're going to be running, hopefully the claimant will call in very aggressive hearing, like one of the very aggressive judges that I had actually this week. There you go. And then basically from there, you guys will get to see what it's like for me to really actually beat somebody up like some of the tougher, meaner judges are in there. So, all right. So let's talk about what we're going to be doing after that. I want to go through a couple of the future little details, go through the basics. For disability, how do I get all my paperwork and DS together? So are you looking to file for disability? Are you looking to, Laura Ebby? Oh, hold on. I got to go ahead and change this. Okay, cool. So guys, we can go over whatever topics you like. No problem there. Let's see. When I first, how do I get all of my paperwork together? So if you want to go ahead and file all your original medical documentation together throughout this process, then what you're going to do is you'll get what's called a directive letter or a patient-directed letter. And then you'll go ahead and submit that to the different facilities. We have a caller calling in right now. Let me get that. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. Oh. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. Are you ready to run some questions live on YouTube?
I am.
Excellent. So real quick, walk me through. Is this the claimant who wanted me to go full on, with the detail? Good. All right, perfect. So what we're going to do is I've got a little shadow under the table. He's trying to keep all the snacks to himself away from little Layla, the dog. Let's do the hearing questions. I'm going to keep it fast tonight because I want people to kind of feel the speed at which this is going to occur. There is a claimant who wants to go ahead and run hearing questions a little bit later very aggressively. So we'll go through that as well. All right. So, ma'am, go ahead and state your full name for the record.
My name is Trish Smith.
Excellent. And walk me through, when is your actual hearing?
In 5 days, 11.
Okay. And walk me through this. Current age and date of birth.
I am 29 years old. My date of birth is 11/90. Well, I went to Job Corps.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And in Job Corps.
A certificate.
Okay, go ahead.
I received a certification for my CNA. I was a certified nursing assistant for about 3 years.
Okay, excellent. Are you currently working?
I am not.
Okay. Help me out with this. Why did you stop working?
A lot of my past work includes, like I said, I was a CNA for 3 years. Mm-hmm. I was in a plant for 6, and I did fast food for 3. A lot of those jobs were fast-paced. They did a lot of walk-in, stand, reaching, pulling. My impairment is, my physical impairment is I have hidradenitis suppurativa.
Mm-hmm.
And what that is inflammation, nodules, or cysts that occur, in my particular case, under both of my arms. I get them on my months. I actually have some sores that I've had in years.
Okay.
I also have generalized anxiety disorder.
Mm-hmm.
It itself causes a lot of concentration problems, a lot of problems staying on task, remembering things, as well as bipolar 2 disorder, which it includes significant depression and panic disorder, where I have panic attacks quite often. All of that combined cause me problems. My arms are inflamed. I can't reach. I really have limited mobility when they're in sensitive areas, at least for the first month and length.
Okay. So how often do you get these?
I'm on medication.
Yeah, how long do they last?
Normally, they stay inflamed. I can normally have them to bust for about anywhere from a day to 4 days after they inflame.
Okay. Okay. So what we're claiming here are basically the nodules. We're claiming the anxiety. We're claiming the depression. Any other impairments?
Bipolar 2. Was with
bipolar.
I'm sorry, that's the depression.
Okay. Now walk me through this. Which is the most severe out of all of them?
My hindronitis.
Okay. And can you tell me this? When did you start having that issue?
I've had hindronitis.
And why were you able to work all that time? Able to?
Well, hindronitis, it actually gets worse over time. I've actually had 2 surgeries. I've been in the hospital 10 times, having them lamps called the scar tissue. So over the years, they've just progressively gotten worse. And I also think that with them getting worse, they make my other imperatives worse. They make my anxiety worse. They make my panic attacks worse. And they make my depression worse.
Okay. So help me out with this. The last job you were working, did you get fired? Did you quit? What happened?
I pointed out.
Okay.
Meaning I missed too many days. I used up all of my FMLA time. Worse. After I came back, all of the combined was just too much.
Okay. I would imagine this limits your ability to do certain functional tasks like walking, standing, stuff like that?
Yes, sir, it does.
Okay, gotcha. And how often do you get a new nodule? Is it a couple of days? Is it every month? How often?
I can actually, even in my medical records, I think a week after I had surgery to remove 2, the doctors noted that I already had another one coming up. They're so unpredictable, and I think that has a lot to do with the problem.
Okay.
So I've had them 2 days apart, and but I don't think there is a week in a month that I do not have at least 1 or 2.
Okay. Do you have any children?
8, 6, and 20. I'm sorry.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Do you receive any food stamps yourself or for the children?
I do. I do receive food stamps.
What kind of programs are you currently benefiting from?
I get SNAP benefits, which are food stamps, and I also get Medicaid for me and my children.
Okay. Do any of the children receive disability benefits or some other form of benefit?
They do not. 2 of my children are legally on child support that I actually get from my husband. So they get that, but other than that, no.
All right, help me out with this. Do all the children live with you?
They do.
Okay. And I would assume some of the older ones, do they help you out with certain functions around the house?
Yes. My 14-year-old is a tremendous help. I do without her. We have a great support system. I have a good amount of family that actually stops by on a daily basis and helps.
Okay. And walk me through this. How do they assist you?
I have an aunt that cooks every Sunday. She cooks a big family meal, any of the family can come. She's real good about if I send food over there, she'll cook it. Okay. And she will send it back in gallon Ziploc bags with dates on it, and we'll actually freeze that. And
how do you afford the rent?
And it's not easy. I am actually 2 months behind, but unfortunately for the epidemic, my landlord was able to get an extension through where the loan for the house. They were able to extend their payment, so it allowed me to be able to extend mine.
Okay. Walk me through this. Do you smoke?
I do smoke. I am working in a program now.
What kind of program?
Cut down. It's an I Quit program. It's online. It designates you a counselor, and together y'all come up with goals and a plan and alternate ways. They try to help you figure out what your triggers are. They help you we have a plan and goals, and I check in with them quite a few times a week.
Okay. So what are you down to? How many cigarettes?
It's embarrassing. It's still bad, but I am down 3 cigarettes a day.
Okay. What were you back in the day?
I started about 2 years ago at 2 packs, and then about a year ago, I went to about half a pack.
Okay. So you're down to 3 cigarettes. So that's in 2 years' time. Let's say that you're found disabled. You know, you're going to keep smoking. Do you feel that you'll keep smoking a bit?
I do not. Smoking actually causes a slow in the process of the healing process in your body. That smoking increases the inflammation that is within your body, which essentially what tendonitis is.
Okay. So
I did not plan. I'm sorry if I didn't answer it.
No, it's okay. So walk me through this. I mean, obviously you're still going to be smoking a bit if you're found disabled. Like, you know, if it's a couple of months from now, you'll still be smoking. Do you think you'll keep buying cigarettes?
I don't buy them now, to be honest with you. My mother is very supportive, and as long as I keep it below 4 cigarettes a day, she supplies me with 4 cigarettes a day, literally.
Okay. Okay.
Literally. She
okay.
buys them, and she gives me 4 cigarettes a day.
Okay. Geographically, where are you from?
Alabama.
Okay. It was either that or it was Georgia. There was one of the two. I wasn't sure. I was trying to phrasing you were going to use. You said y'all, so I knew it was Alabama or Georgia, maybe South Carolina, but that would have been a little bit more, you know, they're a little bit more preppy in their country. So, all right, good. So let me ask you this. So do you live in a house? Do you live in a trailer? Do you live on a farm? Where do you live?
I do live in a house.
Okay. What kind of house?
A brick house.
Okay. How many steps into it?
It's just a step from the ground up onto the porch.
Okay. Does it have a backyard?
It's 1 step from the ground to the porch, and then just 1 step from the porch to in the door.
Okay. So it's 2 steps, and then what about in the back? Is there a backyard?
There is.
Okay. How big is the backyard? Is it an acre? Is it half an acre? Things like that?
They do.
Okay. You have a garden back there?
I do not.
Okay. Who does the upkeep? Who does the mowing?
My separated husband.
So he still comes around?
Oh, yes. That's one of the people I can't do it without. He will come in and check on the kids almost every day after work.
Okay. So help me out with this. He's still assisting. So what do you do around the house?
I do as much as I can when I can. I mean, I'm here with the kids. There are times where I can or fix a sandwich, fix the kids something for lunch, and it really depends on where is affected on my body, honestly. So the question's kind of hard to answer. If my arms are inflamed, especially in the first few days, I can't do much. I can't reach. I place my arm in where a sling type look, like how a sling would be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where my arm stays, unless I'm replacing my hot rag that I keep under there.
Any difficulty with sleeping due to these impairments?
There is a lot, and it's not just tendonitis. Of course, pain comes apart in sleeping, but my anxiety disorder actually causes a lot of problems with sleeping. One time I was and then it took me off. But laying awake, not being able to shut my mind off, not being able to calm down, not replaying things from throughout the day, it's kind of difficult.
Okay. So what kind of medication are you taking, and what is it for?
I take, for my HS by itself, I take a medication called Remarry.
Mm-hmm.
I take a 4-milligram shot every 7 days. I have to give myself a shot in my thigh area. It's to lower, my immune system, to keep it from attacking itself, to try to stop the reoccurring boils or cysts or however you want to put them. My problem with that is, especially with everything that's going on right now, it lowers your immune system.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And with the epidemic that's going on, it lowers your immune system.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And with the epidemic that's going on, disorder,
mm-hmm.
I take Endoreal, 20 milligrams 2 times a day, and that's for my blood pressure, the irregular heartbeat, and the tremors that come along with my anxiety and my panic attack. And I take Zoloft, 100 milligrams a day, and that's an antidepressant, and it also can help on my panic attacks. The problem with taking these is those last 3, the Lamictal, the Endoreal, and the Zoloft, all cause drowsiness. They cause nausea and diarrhea, which is something I do suffer from. I don't know if it's one in particular, maybe the combination of the 3, but I do have a lot of stomach pains, and it comes with a lot of diarrhea, which is kind of embarrassing. I'm sorry. Acetone cream that actually I can rub on my infected areas for the itching and the inflammation, because they do itch really bad.
Let me ask you this. What's your favorite meal to cook for the kids?
Before, my favorite meal used to be something called chicken spaghetti.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it might be a southern thing,
mm-hmm.
but I used to love it. The kids loved it. I can't do that anymore, but it does take a long time standing up. It takes a lot of ingredients. It takes a lot of work to make. But I have taught my sister how to make it like me.
Mm-hmm.
And if she ever makes it, she will drop the kids off.
So help me out with this. I mean, you've got quite a few kids there. Normally they go to school. Do you drive them?
No, I do not.
When they come home, what chores do they have, and what do you do?
My oldest, it used to be a lot more on my oldest, my 14-year-old. Mm-hmm. But recently my cousin bought me a Pro Smart Back. Mm-hmm. So I can have the kids pick up all the big stuff. And my 6-year-old loves to push the button on my phone to turn it on. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, the vacuum will go through and vacuum the house. Right. They are responsible for their rooms. They are together responsible for the living room. My mm-hmm. oldest washes dishes, cleans the living room, and washes towels and rags. My mother will come once a week and try to do essential clothing that we wear often. And I do help when I can, too often, which feels pretty creepy, but it's true.
So you help out where you can. Help me out with this. I mean, most of your children are too young to help out. So I have to kind of consider and weigh the evidence of what they're likely doing versus what you have to do. And if your mother only comes once a week, I'm assuming you're doing a lot of the laundry.
My mother comes more than once a week, but she only does laundry once a week.
Okay, gotcha. Help me out with this. How old is your youngest child again?
She is 20 months now. 20
months. And when did you stop working?
17. About 17 months ago. It was March of 2019. I'm sorry.
Oh, May. Okay, so a year ago, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you had the child, and then you stopped working for the most part.
I started to work after I had her.
Yeah. You had the child, and then you went back to work, and then you kind of stopped working. Okay, that's good. So these nodules, they come up often. They're pretty painful, I would imagine. How long do you think you can sit when you have them?
If, like I said, depending on where they are, if I have one on my buttocks, I cannot sit down. There is no, a lot of the time I lay across my bed or I'll lie in the living room on my stomach. If I have one, and this just honestly, if I have one on my buttock, there is no sitting down.
Like how long? So you can't sit down at all. What about, for example, and look, I'm setting you up for a trap. I'm just going to tell you ahead of time, setting you up for a trap. So just keep running through this, and then when the bass drops, just be aware. Be aware. I warned you. So how long could you stand with these? I mean, surely these cause pain and issues. How long can you stand before you have to sit down?
If I have them on my penny line, standing still is a lot easier than walking. Standing up, I may be able to stand up for 30, 45 minutes with constant readjusting. You know, if depending on what I have on. Okay,
so not tight clothing, you know, just relaxed, fit, you know. No. What would you say? How long could you stand?
About, if the questions you're asking, I'm going to assume that's where you're talking about, if I have them wet there. That's where my restrictions come in, depending on where I have them. Okay. But the first few days of getting one on there that's inflamed, maybe 10, 15 feet, and I'm in pain. I can walk it. It's painful to walk it, but 10, 15 feet, and I need to get off. I need to get off my feet.
All right, so help me out with this. How long have you had these again?
I have had them for 15 years.
And they became worse recently because why?
A lot plays a part in it. I know that I gained and I don't know what causes them to get worse. No, I can only say from experience that throughout life they've gotten worse. Throughout my scarring tissue, they've gotten worse.
Okay, so walk me through it. So you've got all this stuff going on, right? You've got all these issues going on. You've got all these problems going on. How were you able to do the process to make a child 20 months ago if these were going on?
At the time, they were bearable. There were times where I've been to the ER to have them lanced. There were times where I had to have surgery to have them removed because I couldn't take the pain. But surgery while I was pregnant. Nobody wants to have surgery while they're pregnant. To where
so basically you were able to do a pregnancy, you were able to procreate a child, you were able to work, and then all of a sudden now they're work. Panty line issue with these, that's been going on for what, past 10, 15 years?
Yes.
Okay. So can you tell me, why did you really stop working?
That is the reason I stopped working. Okay. I mean, it came too much. It's physically impossible almost. I mean,
well, you got a lot of education, right? I mean, you got a lot of education. You got a lot of knowledge and background.
I have my GED.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Then you have specialties, a vocational school track, which is good. You got a lot of education. That's excellent. But the thing I wonder about here is that basically if you're able to do all that education and then you're able to work for a bit of time and then all of a sudden you have to stop, I just, when did you, right around when you stopped working?
Right after I started the initial program for disability.
Okay, so right around you applied for disability. When did you start receiving child support?
I've been receiving child support for 8 years.
Been receiving child support for 8 years. Did it increase or decrease in the past 12 months?
No.
Okay. When was the last time it increased or decreased?
It has never. We never went back to trial. My son was 6 months. We said we wanted to make sure he got what he was supposed to. He put himself on child support. And we've never changed it. Well, besides adding my daughter when we had her.
Are all your children through this same father?
My 3-year, not my oldest.
Okay. But you only receive child support through 2 of them, correct?
Yes, we did never went added to third.
Why not?
We actually planned on it. It just didn't happen. There was a lot going on, including all of this. I mean, my attitude. It was just a lot going on. It wasn't, that important at the time.
Well, it sounds like he's still helping out, right? Right around the house, he's still doing the, trimming and hedging and mowing.
Yes.
And yeah. Okay.
Yes, and he still comes and gets his kids. And if I call him and tell him physically I cannot do it, I mean, this was the man that actually treated my wounds after every last one of my surgeries. So he understands what I go through. He's been here. So I call him and tell him physically, I'm hurting, I'm in pain, I can't do it. Mentally, I can't do it. He'll come get the kids, all four of them.
So does he have partial custody or do you have full custody?
We have on court, on record, he has visitations. He has the right to get them every Wednesday and every other weekend.
Okay. Who buys the groceries?
Food stamps covers the cost.
But who goes and gets them?
Groceries.
Yeah.
Most of the time, my aunt, when she does her grocery shopping, she has Sam's Club. She goes to Sam's Club. So most of the time, she'll do my grocery shopping with her daughter and my younger auntie.
Okay. Just be careful of that because it's the whole food stamps giving it to somebody else gig. All right. So your aunt comes and helps. What happens when she's not available and you still need food?
I have a huge family, and I have no problem at all calling any one of them. I mean, if it comes to my kids having to eat, I don't mind calling cousins, aunties.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I know that they're going to show up. I know that they know my situation and they're here to help support.
Mm-hmm. So help me out with this. You've been receiving these child support benefits. Now, are you remarried at this point?
No, I'm married to him. We're just separated.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So you never got a full divorce. Okay. Understood. All right. Let me ask you a few other questions to kind of go through some basic details as to how this system actually works. We talked about the issue with the sitting. Do you have any orthopedic devices or perhaps some ambulatory devices or medical devices to assist you with your daily activities?
I do not.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you say you have difficulty standing, you have difficulty sitting, you have difficulty walking, what do you do? Just always stay in a room, or how does that work out?
A lot of the time, yes. If it's that bad, if I can't get a access to relieve some pressure in the first 3 to 4 days, I'm going to the ER. Mm-hmm. And I think it'll be surprising at how thick my ER records are. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if I can't get it done, then I have to, because I do have kids that I have to look after. I can't lay on the couch for a week because this thing is hurting me. I can't move, I can't walk, and I can't get it to go down.
Help me understand. Go to the emergency room. How long are you usually there for? Like, what's the average? What's a long one? Give me an example.
Right now, I actually went not too long ago, and it was pretty quick going through. I waited for maybe 15 minutes. I don't know if they didn't want me out there with the people with the respiratory problems, but I got back pretty quick.
Well, what do they do when you're there?
20 minutes.
Yeah, what do you do when you're there?
It really depends on the doctor you have. Some doctors do the steroid shots that are extremely painful, but they do relieve a little quicker than, I think, with the less scar tissue and less repercussions later. Some of them will lance them, mm-hmm. which over time actually makes it a whole lot worse. I think that's why I'm at stage 3 now, is because constant lancing and misdiagnosis. But some of them will lance, and then some of them won't do anything. Some of them will say that, we don't like to lance them anymore. That's not what recent research is telling us to do. So I'm in there, they give me antibiotics, and I'm gone with no relief.
Okay. So you're in and out relatively quickly. Who takes care of the kids when you're not there?
Most of the time, either my mom would come over or my grandma would come over.
Mm-hmm. And how old is your mom?
No, my mom is 50, 49, 50.
Okay, so I would imagine she works all the time too, correct?
No, she does not work.
So, well, what does she do for a living?
She does not work. She does not work.
The husband
my aunt bought her a kind of like a camper, and that's what she lives in, but she doesn't work.
How does she afford food? How does she do that?
I know that she receives SNAP benefits.
Okay, all right. So let's go through this. We talked about your medications. We talked about what they're for. We got some side effects in there. Help me out with this. So you can do on a good day versus a bad day throughout your daily activities.
On a good day, I can get up.
Mm-hmm.
I can possibly help my kids pick out their clothes for the day. I can sit and watch them play outside.
Uh-huh.
If I'm not inflamed, that to me that's a good day. Just being a part of their life, not being stuck out in the bedroom by myself,
mm-hmm.
or laid on the couch, not being able to participate with them or anything.
Okay. All right, look, let's summarize real quick. You have obviously done a lot of preparation for this. So have you been watching videos and reading up on this?
Everything you posted.
Okay. I was going to say, because this is like, I'm throwing a lot of things. The only major weakness that I'm hearing in your claim is that you were able to procreate, go through all that time of the birthing process, have a child. And if you're able to do all of that, then the question in my head becomes, then why couldn't she work? And what hurts your claim too is that it appears that the moment you went from having that final child, it was a light switch to say, okay, I can no longer work. So to me, this looks like more of a gig where you just decided to stay at home with the kids. So help.
Even if I had to have surgery while pregnant.
Mm-hmm. Did you?
Yes, I had surgery while 5 months pregnant.
How many surgeries?
I've had 2 surgeries so far. They want me to go through another one, but they want to see a lesson of how often I get my lesions before I go through a major of taking out my entire area.
Okay. So now you keep saying emergency room. I'm not hearing specialists, specialized medication, specialized treatment. When was the last time you had health insurance?
I do have health insurance, and I'm also being treated by a dermatologist.
Okay.
My dermatologist is who has me on Remarry.
Okay. More severe?
I believe so. I know sweating. I know not being able to keep my area dry. I know constant. They actually define it as boils that cause only from skin rubbing together.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of movement, a lot of walking will cause them to flare up more down there. A lot of moving of my arms, a lot of repetitive motions will cause them to flare up under my arm a whole lot more. Since I stopped working, I've actually, just due to stop wearing a bra,
mm-hmm.
and excuse me, I'm sorry, but this is true, and undergarments, due to stop working wearing those, I have eliminated the ones that I get on my my sides, my bra line,
mm-hmm.
like directly under my arm. I would get them on my bra line, and I do have scarring there. But I think I've had in the last 7 months, and because I said May and I meant March, and I'm so sorry that I actually stopped working in March. I'm sorry about that. But in that amount of time, I've eliminated those, as well as I stopped wearing undies, bottom undies, panties. I have eliminated the ones that I get on my side. I think in the last 17 months, I've had one on my side of my heel where I normally have them monthly.
Okay. All right.
So I think that has a lot to do with it. They say hormones make it worse.
So, yeah, which isn't helping your claim because of the whole birth thing. So help me out with this. There's no orthopedic devices. There's nothing to support you. What happens when you go out of the house? Where do you sit down?
I actually have a chair on my front porch. If I am able to go outside and watch my kids play, it has, my husband, I'm separated from, built a kind of padded thing. My daughter's room, I guess when we moved in, used to be a studio. And it had a bunch of pads on the wall that they had glued on the wall. Well, he took that and glued it onto a chair. And I'll sit in that chair. Does it relieve all of it? No. I can sit better if I can put pillows under certain areas, to kind of relieve pressure off other areas when I have them on my panty line. So I'll sit on my chair with my pillows and no bra under my shirt and watch my kids play. As far as going outside of the house, I normally don't. I go to my doctor's appointments when I can. I do have depression and one of the things is I do have problems leaving the house sometimes. And that includes doctor's appointments. I'm glad that my psychiatrist that I see understands that. I'm glad that, she'll let me know, hey, if you're not feeling right, if you're not feeling good, we need you to come in so you can always call ahead of time. Because a lot of time I can't leave the house. I mean, these things smell bad.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. And this is good. And you've sold a good story here. I like it. You're in the house. You're not moving. Okay. But you get your groceries somehow, and it's not always your mom. And the kicker to this story is there's either a massive benefit sharing system going on where you're bargaining and bartering. And I know you said you got a big family and all that jazz, but what's going through my head is, okay, what is she doing for these other people for them to go ahead and do all these things? And then what's going through my head is there's no way if they're that bad that she could actually go through the process of creating a child and then go through all those months for the child to be born. And then you think about that too. How many surgeries did you have while you were, going through the process of creating the child to going, prior to that where there was none of that? And then you got to think too, you've got a lot of kids. And then you've got to think too, if you can't sit that much, you must be standing. And then you got to think too, you can't stand that long, so you must be laying down all the time. And then you describe the chair where you're laying down, but it's not perfect. But that's not an orthopedic device. You haven't sought any. You don't have any. I haven't heard any special braces, any slings, anything like that. No special cushions. So, what do you drive? So,
I don't have a car.
I don't have a car. Of course. So, what does your husband? Yeah. What does he drive?
My husband does have a car. He drives a van.
He drives a van. What does your mom drive?
My mom drives a car.
What kind of car?
I don't know.
Oh, don't say that in the hearing because then I'll murder you in the hearing. If I were an ALJ and I heard that, I would murder you because your mom's always buying you groceries. Yeah.
I don't know cars.
Yeah, well, just Toyota Camry. Oh, that's the easy one. That's man. Let me tell you, Toyota Camry, anything, maybe just Corolla, a Hyundai, a Ford. Bronco, whatever. I mean, just come up with something because, man, the moment I hear my mom picks up my groceries and does all the stuff, and then the moment I hear I don't know what my mom drives, that's a problem. It helps to benefit you.
I can tell you the color.
Yeah.
I can tell you everything about it except the name. But I understand, and I'm actually writing down that I need to find out what kind of car she drives.
Well, what kind of a car does she drive? Tell me about it.
It's 4-door. It's red. I mean, I can tell you that the front part of it is black. The little fender, I guess, part is black. I just don't know cars. I don't know. I know what a truck is. I know what an SUV is. I know what a van is. But as far as brands, I don't. I've been with my husband, even before marriage, I've been with my husband 10 years, and I can't tell you what type of van he has. I just know it's a rusted van.
Okay. So let me understand this. What was your education type?
I have my GED.
You have your what?
My GED.
GED. Okay. Okay. Oh, my squeaky chair is about to break. Let me ask you this. So you're not sure what your husband drives. How long have you known him?
Known him about 10 and a half years.
It's a rusty van. How long has he had the van?
About 2 years.
About 2 years. Okay. So this is not a wealthy family, right? This is not everybody has money, right?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
Cousins don't have money.
My house is actually owned by a family friend.
By who?
So, no. A family friend. The owner of the house that I'm renting is actually a family friend.
Okay.
I only got in a house because I knew somebody.
Okay. Okay. So fuel is a big thing, right?
Fuel?
Yeah, fuel. You're paying them for fuel to go do your stuff.
Oh, no.
So you don't pay them for fuel. They just.
I really don't.
Okay, so the mom just comes over, buys her groceries, gets them, picks them up, brings them back, all that.
Yes. Now, if I have it, I mean, I do get child support, but I have stuff that comes before that. If she doesn't want to do it, that's fine. I'm very appreciative. Don't think I'm not appreciative. But I can also call my aunt. I can call her daddy. I mean, her daughter. I can't call her son that often, just in dire emergencies, but I can't call him. I can call my grandma. And I mean, and if it causes problems, yes, I don't feel entitled, but she doesn't have to do the things that she does. She's only been in my life for 1.5 years now. So the fact that she helps me is appreciative, but I mean.
So what's your mom's education level? What's your mom's education level?
I don't even think she finished high school.
Okay. So you who have a GED and specialized vocational track education thereafter do not have a car.
It's not just that. I actually get pretty bad anxiety. I had a wreck with my 2 daughters in the car, maybe 5 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and driving scares the Jesus out of me.
Okay. What's the scariest part of driving?
Not knowing what other people are going to do, honestly. Even riding in the car scares me, but honestly, not knowing what they're going to do, not knowing if they're going to stop, not knowing if they're paying attention, not knowing if my kids are going to be okay, not knowing if we're going to make it where we're going. I mean, driving scares the mess out of me, and that's not something that I put on my disability claim. That's not something about anything, but it does. Driving scares the crap out of me.
So let me ask you this: you don't ride a bicycle?
No.
You don't ride a motorcycle, right? You there?
Hello?
Oh, you there?
Oh, okay, now you broke up for a minute. Yes,
Oh, okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
Can you repeat that?
Do you ride a motorcycle?
No,
Okay.
never.
Okay. So you don't have a car, but you have a driver's license. You rely on everybody to do your transportation of food and other things. Who takes you to your medical appointments?
The one that I go to Birmingham, for one, and my husband actually takes me there. The other, my aunt is actually, she gives me a ride back and forth to there, and that one is closer, so that one could be different people. But when I go to my main dermatologist in Birmingham, that's my husband takes me. my psychologist is in Madison, and that I can actually get rides from different people, including my mom, my aunt, my cousin.
When they're not available, how do you go?
They're not available, then I guess I'm missing a doctor's appointment, and that's a $50 charge.
Did your husband ever remarry, or is he in the process of finding somebody else to remarry?
No. No.
Why not?
I feel like when I get better control of my attitude and a few things that I'm going through, that we will be okay. He doesn't have the problem. I do. I have a hard time depending on just how I feel at the moment. I can be very mean and very angry, and that's the reason why we're not together.
Okay. So aggression-based issues. Let me ask you this. Of the following groups of people, who do you get along with the least? Friends, family, the general public, bosses, or coworkers?
Bosses, I think.
Okay. Why them?
I don't like to be put down. I don't like to be, that's something that I really have a really hard problem dealing with people not talking to me in a respectful manner, I guess. I don't know how to put it. I get very angry very quick. I outraged very quick. To be honest, it's not the best idea with me, but it's true. I don't like being put down. I don't like being talked about. I don't like being, I would say criticism, but I think it'd be more than that. But that's why I would give. And after that would have to be family. But I think bosses is a little more.
All right. So let's kind of go through the basics here. You already explained to me some of the limitations you have with getting dressed. You already explained to me other people are doing the cleaning in the house. You already explained to me that basically you are smoking cigarettes, that your mom brings you cigarettes. You explained to me that you're smoking around 3 to 4 cigarettes a day, that your mom must bring them to you pretty much every day. How far away does your mom live from your house?
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay. Does she drive her car there or does she walk there?
No, she drives the car here.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Do you have a Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn account?
I do not. Not anymore. I used to.
Okay. Well, why'd you get rid of them?
Honestly, it's a lot of negativity with everything that's going on right now, and I kind of felt overwhelmed by seeing people that I liked or I was friends with post about certain subjects that are going on right now, and it was honestly just too much.
Okay. So, can you tell me this? Did the doctor state to you that there's any particular surgery, any particular treatment, any particular medications that you could take going forward, which would cure you enough to be able to go back to work?
Yes. Well, not cure, but treat. Yes. They actually have a Humira is the only medication that's actually FDA approved for my disease. I started it about a month and a week ago. It took. They actually prescribed it in March, I think. May. I think May, and we're May, June, July, August. Yeah, we're just now getting approved last month. Because they have to work out the co-payments and all that. But anyway, it's supposed to limit the amount of abscesses I get. Now, if I can get the amount of abscesses I get limited, then they can go ahead and do a surgery to remove the scar tissue and from underneath my arm and replace it, and that could actually like the best potential outcome.
Okay. Okay. Other than your driver's license, what other cards do you have?
Cards?
Yeah, cards. Governmental issued cards, heavy equipment licenses, library cards, stuff like that.
I used to have a library card. I don't have it anymore. Instead of my government issued cards, I have my SNAP benefit card, which is my big stamp card. I have my my child support card is also, I guess, a government card.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Okay. Okay. All right. You've prepared heavily for this.
My anxiety, I can't help it. I'm sorry, but my anxiety is like bad about it. So I have to, like, I have to know everything that's happening, everything that's going to happen, everything that might happen, everything that might occur, for what and why it happened. And you might not understand that, but it's like, if I can get those questions answered, then maybe I can calm myself down sometimes.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. All right. The way I look at this claim is that I feel an underlying question to it all. Now, I understand it's Alabama. I get that. So, you know, I get that. Which means that the families are usually larger. Everybody's still connected. They all live pretty close to each other. They help each other all the time. That's just kind of the familial stance of how it works back there, you know, or up there in Alabama. So, yeah. So, and I understand that. What's bothering me is the quid pro quo, because in Alabama, the quid pro quo exists very strongly, which means, what do you do for your mom? What do you do for your ex-husband? What do you do for these other people when they help you out?
To answer that, if you're for answers to that,
yeah,
I feel like my mom feels like she owes me. I'm just going to be honest. My mom denied. My father was murdered in February of last year.
Okay.
That's about the time that she actually came in my life. I reached out to her. I had to reach out to her. She's never been a mom to me or my brothers and sisters. She has not raised us. I was not on speaking terms with my mom. My children did not know who my mom was, except for my oldest. My oldest is the only one that knew her, or anything like that, the name she went by, or anything like that. I feel like after I reached out to her after my father died, because I've always said, you know, I was not going to matter. I'm not going to care if anything happens to him. I felt that way about my father, and then the thing my father in the casket was something totally different. So when I reached out to my mom, at first, she rejected pretty much, but after that, I feel like she came back in my life, and I feel like that now she actually feels like, okay, I did wrong by y'all, and that's the reason why she helped me. And can we always get along? No, because she still refused to admit some of the stuff she did. But that's how I feel about her. She helped me to make herself feel better. And if that's what it takes to get the stuff that I need done as far as like if my kids need groceries, if my kids' clothes are all dirty and they don't have anything to wear, if that's what it takes to get that stuff done, why not? As long as she's not doing anything that I don't understand, I have no problem with it.
Okay.
My husband loves me.
So your husband loves you, but you're separated because you're aggressive.
Pretty much.
And you've been separated, and he's been helping you for how many years?
Oh, no, it hasn't been years. No, we've been separated for months. Okay. It hasn't been years that we've been separated.
Okay, understood. Okay, all right. The quid pro quo aspect of this worries me a bit. The always relying on specifically the main two people for functions. Now I understand the mom thing a little bit better, so make sure you premise that, but summarize it better. Because when describing her guilt, you need to be able to define it very quickly and easily in bullet points for the judge. Because I'm sitting here the whole time thinking this mom is really involved. I understand she doesn't have anything to do all day, but how many kids does she have? So let me ask you, how many kids does your mom have?
She has 4. None of them have anything to do with her. I'm the only one.
Okay. All right. Do you have any questions for me?
As far as the medical, if my medical is backing up how often I have them, what do you think?
Well, I think first and foremost, you need to have some medical devices to assist you with walking and sitting, because you're going to be running into the light and sedentary based job requirements via the vocational expert. So that's a problem. I think the next thing you got to work on is basically, explaining. I mean, this is a 1-story home, right?
I'm sorry?
It's a 1-story home, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what you've got here is, it's painful for me to sit, it's painful for me to stand, it's painful for me to walk, it's painful for me to do bending, lifting, all of those functions. But I'm not hearing a single medical device that's used to assist you other than maybe medication and the occasional surgery, and maybe the injection. So I think that's a big weakness with the claim. I think another big weakness with the claim is that, and don't get me wrong, your testimony is good. I mean, this whole thing felt like you know how to play it, and you know how to play it well. I'm assuming you're represented, right? You're in there with an attorney?
I am.
Okay. So have you gone over questions with your attorney yet?
No, and that's what led me to watching your videos.
Okay.
I spoke to her for 15 minutes.
Okay. And what were the things that she brought up when she spoke with you for 15 minutes?
My age. She said that she thinks that my age is the only hindrance, that I had a very strong work history.
Mm-hmm.
My medical records were very detailed and were very thorough. She said that the only problem she seen was my age, and that she thinks that they would be able to find a few jobs, but that would be kicked out by my attendance record from my previous job.
I'm not so sure about that, and here's why. You were an employee that worked a couple of jobs there, correct? It was only the last job that you had that you got basically fired from.
Yes.
Okay, and the last job you had required the education that came from the vocational track, correct?
I'm sorry, repeat that.
The last job you had came from the vocational track, right? Where you are with the education that you have, having vocational education. So you got education, you worked a specialized job.
My vocational, I think that's your question. My vocational, I didn't even understand. I'm sorry.
So what was your education in again? The after the GED?
It was security meal count.
Okay. And what was your final job?
A CNA.
Okay, and then
my
you had,
final job was in a plant.
Yeah, what was it again?
My certificates are in CNA, certified nursing assistant.
Yeah.
And then when I had a security meal count, the job that I was working was actually, it was actually a plant job. I was a press operator.
Okay. All right. How long did you work that job?
That job, 1 year, shy of 1 year. That plant, I was there for 3 years, almost 3 years.
So if you worked that job for a year, but you were at that plant for 3 years, what else were you doing at the job, at that plant?
At one point, I was an operator in just another department. I was an operator. And then I was a team leader for a little while.
Okay. So as you were doing this job, was it a sitting job or a standing job?
They differed. Most of the time, 90% of it was standing. The only time you were able to sit was break.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And when I was a team leader, I was able to sit maybe just a little bit more to do paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it was 80% walking or standing, mainly walking.
Okay. So I guess what I'm getting at here is, so you were basically doing a sitting job for the majority of the day, bit of walking here and there, but mostly standing when you weren't sitting. So, all right. So, and that was not a highly specialized job. I thought it was maybe a semi-skilled or unskilled, but I don't see any alternative between those two. So what I'm worried about is the transitional of what types of other jobs in the national economy you could potentially do. Now, look, you might not get a judge that has a lot of, sympathy for you for basically having these 4 kids, right? It was 4 kids. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So then the kicker that I have is, and remember, I'm not trying to be mean to a mom. People take it that way. They take it as me beating up a mom. But if you were working, who took care of those 4 kids when you were working a year ago?
Mostly their father.
Okay. To me, this seems like somebody who's younger who wants to go ahead and spend time with the raising of her children. And to rebut that, well, you're going to say, no, I want to go back to work, yada, yada, yada. Well, you should play that card. You may not want to, actually.
I'm sorry, but if you stayed in the house with 4 kids all the time while you were in pain,
sure,
you would want to go to work.
Sure. It's just odd that your husband, or, well, I guess I understand the issue there. You would get angry with him. You were in the house all the time. Help me out with this. Does your husband work?
He does.
Then how did he watch the children when you were at work?
He used to not work. I was actually the primary
yeah, you're the breadwinner.
money maker. I should make really good money. Before I would never leave a job making as much as I was to try to get disability. I'm not, talking bad about anybody on disability, because I'm obviously going for it now. But
right.
The checks that I would be looking at monthly is kind of less than what I was looking at weekly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Interesting. All right. This was good. I think one of the things to do is be able to explain the situation of the husband and the mom right up front. That way I'm not spending a lot of the time trying to spin my wheels saying, well, when did she separate? Why is the relationship like this? Did the husband move on? Are they getting a divorce? When is all that happening? What is the mom doing? How does she take care of the kids? Does she just hang out at the house all the time? If you're at the house all the time, what do you do at it? Some of the questions that we didn't go into that'll come up will be questions about basically how, what do you do? Do you watch TV throughout the day? What do you do to, keep yourself busy? And that's the only section I actually see or foresee that could be problematic for you, because it's going to force you to give an answer as to physical things that you do. If you're watching TV, they're going to ask you, well, how long is that show usually? And you'll say, oh, it's an hour-long show. And then boom, we're into, well, didn't you tell me you can only sit for 20 to 30 minutes? And we're into that game. So just kind of watch out for those types of questions, because I do see those being a bit nippy. Also, make sure you explain kind of, and are you having a judge that's from Alabama, or are you having a judge from outside of Alabama?
No, a judge from outside of Alabama, and her approval rates are not high at all.
So what is her approval rating?
22%.
Yeah, so this is going to be a denial probably. Okay, are you aware of what happens after this in appeals council and all that?
I've seen you talk about it. I have not had a chance to speak to my lawyer about it. They told me I've already spoke to her, and I won't speak to her again before the hearing. So obviously I went with the wrong law firm. But
what if you have a question? I mean, you cannot reach the attorney. Never again.
I actually physically had people at work that helped me at times, or actual people. My supervisor has actually checked my blood pressure after I've had panic attacks at work, and my blood pressure be, ridiculously high, 170 something over 100. Well, I asked, could I submit statements from them, and I was told no, that wasn't needed. The judge is going to make it off of medical. But I don't see how, if they see my struggles at work and they allow me to change jobs because of my physical ability not to be able to do it, why that would not help. How would that hurt?
You collect, just to presume a little bit, did you collect letters from friends, family members, prior work associates explaining how your impairments were? Did you get a letter from your prior work explaining why you missed all those days. Do you have a copy of your employment record as to why you pointed out?
I do not. I have a copy of when I did submit it to FMLA, and I found out I was out of point. I have a copy of almost all my doctor's appointments for the last 4 years because I'm just extra. I mean, like, I literally have folders with 2 days with copies of my excuses. And my job is mainly, if you submitted something to HR, you better keep a copy, because most of the time you're gonna go up there and they're gonna say you're fired because you pointed out when in reality you had vacation or you had a doctor's appointment. So I have copies of all of my paperwork from work for the last 3 years I've worked here.
Did you submit it to your attorney, or yeah?
No, they told me they didn't want it.
Oh God, that's the most important evidence you could have. The why you missed so many days for medical treatment, the job pointing you out, collecting too many points, and then being terminated. That shows lack of ability to go to work. That shows time off task. That shows all the things a vocational expert needs to find a work preclusive situation for you. That's probably the most important evidence, other than the medical evidence showing that you have it.
Yeah, that's what I got from your videos and from other videos online. And I was told no, that she did not need it. This is what the front office lady said. If they wanted it, then she would have told you. Well, she talked to me for 15 minutes. She couldn't have told me much.
She wants it. She wants it. The attorney wants it. Trust me, she wants it. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and submit it to the court if the attorney isn't, if you can't reach the attorney anymore. Now it's the last time that you've talked to her. Go ahead and find out what the OHO office is that you're dealing with. And what you're going to do is call, find out their address, and then you'll mail in your records specifically with a cover page that specifies your name, your social, and your birthday. And then if you can, get them to send you what's called an OHO barcode. Once again, an OHO barcode, because if you have an OHO barcode, you can go ahead and mail it in. You can go ahead and fax it in, and it makes it a lot easier. What your attorney normally does is she'll go ahead and basically submit that through the ERE e-folder, but you don't have access to that, so you're going to have to mail in it. Now, how many days in the future is this?
I have 5 days.
5 days. Call the law firm, demand that they take the document.
So what if, and also one more question, I'll leave you alone. I'm so sorry. I know we've been on for a long time.
No, that's fine.
What I found out that they have not requested a RFC,
residual function capacity. All right, so here's kind of the bottom line. If they didn't get an RFC from your treating physician, most treating physicians will not go ahead and fill out an RFC. So that's not uncommon that you run into, they won't do it. But is your treating physician willing to fill out?
I have a care team. I speak to one of the people on my care team. I don't go back to the doctor until September to even speak to my doctor. The only way I have communication through them, we have communication online. They canceled my appointment because of the epidemic. And since then, it's been, besides emails, nothing.
Okay, help me out with this. Yeah. Did the SSA send you to DDS appointments?
No. What's DDS? What is that?
Distribution Services. Yeah, they're the group that basically sends you to MECEs. So if they didn't send you to these, they did send you to these medical experts, or they didn't?
They did not. And
why is that?
Hello?
Yep. Can you hear me? Why was that?
Okay. Now I can hear you again. No, they have not sent me to anybody.
Okay. Did your attorney explain to you why that was?
No, I have not spoke to her. About that 15 minutes where she told me my age would probably be the only problem.
Is it a big box firm? Is it a little custom firm?
I think they're a big box firm.
Okay.
I see on your videos that's where I probably messed up at.
Okay. All right. So Look, all right, here's the thing. At this point, you're really good with answering questions. So you're going to need to run questions more thoroughly with your attorney just to get used to their voice, if it's a he or a she. And then basically, you're going to have to ask your attorney, what are the unique things about this particular judge? So, because I'm assuming your attorney is not writing a brief. I'm assuming your attorney is not writing an opening statement. But you should ask them, hey, can you go ahead and read to me ahead of time what the opening statement is going to sound like?
Yes, I actually contacted them Monday,
Mhm.
4 days ago, and asked for a copy of my medical records, and they refused. They said that I couldn't have them, that I couldn't see, and that for me to get them, I would have to pay $160-something.
To the law firm?
Yes.
Well, you have a right to your
To get
medical
my-
records.
Is
Is that their copying fee?
I have a right. Yeah, I guess that's what they paid to get them.
Why can't they just email them to you?
They said they will not. They said they do not use email. Period. It is not. Because I tried to email some documents to them, and they said that it's not secure. That they don't use email. I have to drop it off up there. But yeah, for the medical records, I would have to pay $160-something because that's what they said they were charged to receive my medical records.
Do you want to know how it actually works?
Sure.
Okay, I ask you. Okay. The way it works is that there's this system online that the SSA set up. It was coded very poorly because the government made it. So it's a given. That is just not going to work all the time. But nonetheless, we use it. It's called the ERE, Electronic Records Express. It basically has inside it an E folder. And this E folder has two big chubby folders. Chubby folder number 1 is called the Case Documents folder. That's where all of your unorganized stuff is, all your paperwork. Folder number 2 is your Exhibit folder. That's where they've organized all the records that can be used for reference and citation during the hearing. And then there's another folder. That's where they put the hearing audio, the multimedia folder. So inside the Exhibit and the Case Documents folder, there's the F folder. The F folder. So you got A, B, D, E, F. They got rid of C when they got rid of paper files. So the F folder is where they have all your records. So all they've got to do is download them and put them on a CD.
And they would have a CD with their medical evidence on it.
Exactly.
And that's what I thought.
So
from watching that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not what they say.
So if you really want a copy of your medical records, just call the hearing office. Now they're in COVID right now, so they're not in the office, so they can only use one program as opposed to the 2 programs they can normally access. But the deal is, they can print for you, or they can burn for you a disk of your entire exhibit list. That's your A, B, D, E, and F exhibits, and that includes everything from jurisdictional payments all the way down to the F folder, which are the medical records. So that basically equates to the folder that will allow you to go ahead and have whatever's used for your hearing. And I'll bet you a nickel that there will be some medical records missing, because I'm fighting tooth and nail with medical companies right now, and they're basically double dipping with their third-party, representatives that go ahead and distribute medical records, because now there's a whole multi-billion-dollar industry for that, to sell people their medical records, which shouldn't exist. There shouldn't be this it just shouldn't exist. Like, you shouldn't go to a doctor, spend $200, and then get charged $150 for your medical records from that visit. It just shouldn't exist, But nonetheless, that's something I'm fighting right now, and I'm going to do videos on it. I've just been working nonstop, so I haven't had a chance to do a bunch. But so, okay, bottom line is, I'm concerned for you. There's nothing I can do about it because your hearing's around the corner. But I think what you should do is you should call OHO, the hearing office, find out how to mail those records in. Also, call OHO, request that they send you an exhibit disc. That's what Cheyenne was talking about. And then basically from there, get ready to go to your hearing.
Okay, I thank you so much. I might not like everything you said, but I do appreciate it. I do feel like you helped me. So thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely, madam. Have a wonderful night, and thank you so much.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, good. So, looks like we missed a couple of phone calls. Let's see. Okay, so, guys, I'm going to put the phone number up there real quick. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. Are you ready to run some hearing questions live on YouTube? Nope. Oh, hold on. The phone's acting a bit odd. There we go. Oh, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, perfect. So are you ready to go ahead and run some live testimony on YouTube?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that.
Okay, now do you have a question for me about your particular claim before we run testimony shaping questions?
I guess a question I might have is when my court date, when I go to court, 14 days later, I will be turning 55. So I'm wondering if maybe they'll look at me as being 55, or will that change maybe my onset date?
Okay, so let me explain on YouTube to what you want to do, basically, so that people understand. What you're asking me about is, will your attorney request from the judge a non-mechanical application allowance for a transition to advanced age gridding out allowance for the age category? And what you're hoping is that they'll be able to do that. The reason they won't be able to do that is that your alleged onset date is probably 2 years ago. So when did you file?
I filed, it's probably 2.5 years ago. I probably is when I filed.
Okay.
Close to 3 years.
Okay. So if we're looking at like 3 years back, then that's taken us all the way from 55 back down to 52, which means that we're not even close to 55, which means that you're going to be adjudicated in the 50 to 55, or well, 54 and a day before 55 category. So no, your attorney will not be able to successfully argue a non-mechanical application for them to kind of smudgy and fudgy the rules a little bit to put you through at the higher age group category.
Okay. All right.
So, do you have any additional questions before we run some questions?
No, I think I'm good to go for now.
Good, sir. Go ahead and state your full fake name for the record.
Michael Thomas.
Excellent, good sir. Date of birth and current age.
9/30.
4 years old. Okay, excellent. Walk me through this. When was the last time that you worked over the table?
The last time I worked was in August of 2015.
So that's a long time ago. That's 5 years ago. What happened?
I had a neck injury when I was at work. I hurt my neck, and a year later, I ended up having a fusion for 2 discs in my neck.
Okay. Where were the discs?
C5 through C7.
Help the YouTube community out. Where is that?
Oh, that's up. That's right. I would say that would be below your brain stem and your neck. So that would be your cervical. So it'd be cervical discs 5, 6, and 7, or C5 through C7. 2 discs were replaced.
Okay. So around your neck.
Around, right on my neck. Yep.
Okay. So help me out with this. What caused this?
I worked in a warehouse doing physical labor, unloading semi-trailer trucks, and as while I was in there unloading, it could be packages from 1 pound up to 150 pounds. And so I was in there working. All of a sudden, I felt something wrong in my neck, and come to find out, I had 2 herniated discs.
Now, lawyers and judges are detail people. That was a good general discussion about it at that job. However, what I'm looking for is specifically what you were lifting during that time. Describe for me in detail the truck, what you were lifting, what happened. Did you go to the emergency room, etc.?
Sure. I was working inside a semi-trailer. The trailer stacked from the floor to the ceiling. And as I was about 3/4 of the way unloading the truck, taking packages and putting them on a conveyor belt and sliding them down to somebody else to take care of, I felt something as I was lifting the package, like a snap in my neck, like a sharp pain in my neck. And I kind of just put it off for the moment, continued working because I wanted to get the trailer done for the day. and my neck just continued to get worse and worse. At the end of the day, I told my boss I have something wrong with my neck, so they sent me to urgent care, and that started the treatment for the urgent care. So they sent me to physical therapy to start with, and when that didn't help at all, then they sent me to orthopedic specialists. Then he ordered MRIs, and that's when they found out. They found out at first that I had only one disc was a problem, and so they did physical therapy. They thought I was okay to go back to work, and while I went back to work, I ended up injuring another disc in my neck. So that's how that progressed.
Okay, talk to me about the workers' comp. What happened there?
With the workers' comp, for the most part, the checks were coming early on, but as time went on, the surgery went through the rehab, the work hardening, conditioning, and then after they did the work hardening, I believe they said that I was maybe 60%. I was okay. I was 60% healed, and then when they got that report, my work had me sign some paperwork saying that I was resigning my position. They really didn't have a position for me any longer. I couldn't do it. I was at the light. I think I was at the light, being able to do light work, and they couldn't keep me on there. So I had to sign some papers and resign from there.
How long did you work at this job?
I worked at the company for a total of about 5 years. I started as a security guard there, and then when they decided not to have their own security anymore, they were going to outsource it, and they offered us an opportunity to go into the warehouse, and so I took that opportunity because otherwise I'd have been losing about
But that was still after 2005.
I worked as a security officer at a university.
Mm-hmm.
Worked there on campus, so I was a security officer there.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, in 2006, I worked at a warehouse where they have steel products, cutting steel, pulling orders, and I actually hurt my back there. I have a bulging disc L4, L5 when I was working there. That's why I stopped working there and went into security at the campus at the university.
Okay, so we're looking at security jobs. We're looking at pick things up, put things down jobs. Highest level of education?
High school education, maybe 4 or 5 credits from college, not much.
Why did you stop college?
I was pretty busy with my full-time job, a lot of overtime, so I just couldn't fit in time for that. I was also involved with my church at the time, mm-hmm. So that really took up a lot of my time. Schooling was difficult to stay with.
Are you still integrating with the church?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you do for the church?
I was just involved with the youth group, just doing special events with them, just being involved with them whenever they needed help.
Mm-hmm. Okay, understood. So how often do you do these youth group activities to assist the children?
That's been a long time ago. I haven't done anything like that probably in 20 years.
So what do you do now at the church? Yeah.
What do I do now?
Yeah, what do you do now at the church?
I just attend. I go on Sunday mornings. That's all I do. I just go on Sunday mornings.
Okay. So how long is the church sermon? How long is the proceeding?
The service is probably about an hour and a half.
It's about an hour and a half. Okay. Okay. Do they have a break in between it?
No, they don't.
Okay, now, guys, I want to point out here real quick to both you and the YouTube community. If I were an ALJ, an administrative law judge, I would not be attacking church service, because we're going to go into the whole back thing, being able to sit. How long can you sit? So, good sir, how long can you sit before you have to stand up or sit down or lay down and change positions?
If I'm sitting at my dinner table, the seats aren't very comfortable. So if I'm having dinner or lunch, I could sit there just enough time to finish my meal. And then I have to get onto a better surface like a couch. So maybe 20 minutes I can sit on a hard surface like a wooden chair, something that's not very supported. I have a hard time sitting there very long. On the couch, I could sit probably an hour, but I am changing positions quite a bit. Sitting on the couch, I just can't seem to stay in the same position very long. I start getting certain pains in different areas, so I have to change my position.
So this is what the judge would do. If I were a judge, I wouldn't do this. There's two things that I find judges should not, or many things actually, but judges should not ask about. Those include pets, religious activities, and also basically, well, there's another thing too, but all right, the judge would then say, well, good sir, if you could only sit for 20 to 30 minutes, how are you able to sit through an entire sermon?
Yeah, that is a good question. Well, the seats in the church, they are padded. They're a little more comfortable than a wooden chair. So, I do a lot of adjusting when I'm sitting there. So it's not the easiest thing to deal with. Sometimes I get up and I can go and just take a walk to the foyer, just walk around a little bit and then return to my seat. It's not always the easiest thing to sit there the whole time.
So good. So let me ask you this: after the sermon goes on, anything like that?
No, we head straight home, or we may stop somewhere and pick up a bite to eat, bring it home, or we might have something prepared and ready to eat when we get home. If my wife puts something in the crock pot or something to that effect, something real easy for a Sunday after church that we can go ahead and eat right away. So either pick something up or we just have it prepared and ready.
Who does the cooking at your house?
I do some. My wife does the majority of the cooking.
Mm-hmm.
I do a little bit of cooking, something easy that I don't have to stand at the stove. Maybe put some salmon on a sheet pan, season it, throw it in the oven, and put some rice on. Those two things, maybe take 20 minutes to cook. So I'm sitting down while they're cooking. Something, if I do cook, it's something simple. It's nothing elaborate. Or even like if I want to make chicken fajitas, I end up sitting down at the table and cutting the peppers. I'm not standing there trying to do it because it's a little bit too much to just be standing there because it takes a little bit more time. But whatever I cook, it's something basic. It's nothing that I'm laboring over the stove, but my wife does the majority of the cooking.
I'm sure you help her out with the dishes, right? Oh, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I'm sure you help her out with the dishes, right?
If I help out with the dishes at all, we have a dishwasher. I might, if my wife hasn't got to it or my daughter hasn't got to it, mm-hmm. I might load up some dishes in the dishwasher, but my daughter or my wife will be the one to put them away because I have a hard time reaching something into the cabinets because I have a tear in both shoulders from an auto accident I had 6 months after my neck surgery. So I was hit by a drunk driver. I've got a tear in each shoulder.
Jeez.
So
okay.
Yeah, it was not good. Thankfully, my neck hardware stayed in place, but I still have difficulty with my neck and my shoulders, just my upper body and my lower body because I have a bulging disc with sciatica in my lower body. So I have a number of different things going on right now.
Okay, I'd like to ask you this. You've spoken about the physical. Can you tell me what are your top 5 most severe impairments?
Top 5. Well, I have the bulging disc, would be 1 in the lower back, and I have sciatica. I have the tears in my shoulders, a tear on each shoulder. Still, have some problems from my neck injury. So at times I have pain in my neck, headaches, and I just had an MRI actually of my thoracic portion of my back because about 6 years ago, when they had me on light duty with the neck injury, I ended up doing something to the middle of my back. Imagine just compensating for my neck, trying to work on light duty. So finally, the doctor ordered an MRI for that. So I'm waiting the results of that. Should be within the next few days. So those are probably my top 5.
So basically, anything above the shoulders is a no-go for you. You can't lift your arms above, I'm guessing, your chest height, or can you not lift them even above?
I can lift them, up to, just not above the neck. It's difficult, to try to shave, to put on an overhead shirt, trying to shower, even using the bathroom is a little bit difficult. It's not a pleasant thing to talk about, but it can be, it's painful. I have pain even just using the bathroom, just trying to take care of my hygiene,
So what orthopedic devices have you been prescribed?
I have no orthopedic devices that have been prescribed to me. For myself, my wife bought me a massage machine, which is helpful. So I do use heating pad. I've not been prescribed anything from the doctors.
What medications are you currently taking? What are they for? What side effects do you get from them?
I'm taking gabapentin. That causes me to be kind of tired at times. Taking Flexeril, which is a muscle relaxer. I used to only have to take that like every 3 or 4 days to help me to sleep at night, but it's gotten to where I need to have it every night, unfortunately, because I'm like a zombie for about 12 hours after taking that. And so it's kind of tough trying to function because I get foggy head from it, real tired. And so those are the 2 medications that I've been taking. Been trying to get on some stronger pain medicines for when I have real bad days, but with the VA, they're very strict about not giving anything out. I request it when I go in, but they're just not helping me in that regard. So,
what's your VA rating?
I don't have one.
Why not?
I was never injured when I was in the military.
Okay. Do you seek benefits from the VA?
The only benefits I have are benefits for medical and for buying a house. That's the only benefits I've had from them.
All right, let me ask you this. So what kind of car do you drive?
I drive a Dodge Ram 1500 crew cab.
So, okay, so let me ask you this. So you've got is it a lifted truck?
No, it's just a standard truck. It does have some forget what you call it, to help me when I want to get into the truck. It has steps there, so I can step up and then grab on to help myself get in the truck. Is there a grab bar? There's a grab bar, yes. I used a grab bar and I used the step to get in.
Make sure you mention that during the hearing. Also, so you got a truck. What do you use to transport in it? Or what do you transport with it?
It's not driven very, very often. We use it when we go to church, and I sometimes go out and do some grocery shopping. Occasionally I go once a week to grab some things. I don't shop for anything that's too heavy. If there's anything that needs to be bought, like cases of water or any heavy items, and my son, he can help me out. He's 23 years old, so he can run by the store and grab anything that I might need that might be on the heavy side.
Is he living with you guys, or does he live somewhere else?
He lives with us.
Okay.
I have
And
a 23-year-old and a 16-year-old who live with me,
okay.
and my wife.
Okay. Help me out with this. Does your wife work, or how do you have income?
Yes, my wife works. She's the sole. She's the only one making any money right now.
Okay. And so for 5 years, you've been unable to work. Why haven't you sought out some sort of sedentary-based job?
Well, I've just been in a lot of pain. It's just hard to even function during the day. About a year ago, things financially are pretty tight, just with my wife's income. So about a year ago, I thought I would go ahead and try. So I did get a security job with a company, and I lasted 2 weeks, and then I had to quit. It was just too much. Standing on my feet quite a bit, and then they had totes that would go through an x-ray scanner. So every time the totes would go through, they were probably about 10 pounds. When they would empty them of their stuff, I had to take them and move them to the other side. It was wearing on my shoulders, my back. And even when we were just sitting in the control room where we have a bunch of monitors looking at different areas of the warehouse and outside, it was tough for me to just continue to monitor those, to watch those monitors. From on my neck, it was hard, and just sitting for a long amount of time staring at these monitors, it was just not easy. It gave me headaches and hard to focus on what I needed to really pay attention to, because there was, probably 8 or 10 different monitors in there. So I lasted about 2 weeks, and then I told them I couldn't do the job anymore.
Walk me through this. When it comes to alternate types of jobs out there, what types of jobs do you think you could do?
Well, I really don't know of any job that I could be successful at maintaining. I just don't think that I would be able to do that. It's just, I gave this job a try, and it wasn't a terribly hard job. I had previous experience in security, so it came to me pretty naturally. But the pain that I have just being on my feet and having to pay attention to different things, during the day here at home, I end up having to lay down at least once, if not twice a day, just to feel better and be able to get back up and kind of just be with the family. I don't want to be laying in bed all day. I need to be around my family. That's important to me.
Okay. So help me out with this. When you go grocery shopping, you able to push a cart without issue, I assume?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't need to use the carts, the motorized scooters, correct?
No, I don't.
Okay. And when you park, do you park close by the store or far away?
I try to park as close as I can, and I try to go to the store when it's not the busiest time of the day. I try to go when I can get in there and I can get out and get back home. I'm probably like 1.5 miles away from the store. I'm not very far at all. But I try to get in there and know what I have to get. It's generally about, 8 or 10 items, not a whole lot, and then get in there and get out.
Do you have a disability placard or a handicapped license? Okay.
No.
Okay. Why don't you need one?
Well, I didn't even think to ask the doctor for one, and my doctor's aware that I am filing for disability. Haven't even thought to ask for one, to be honest with you.
Are you currently represented by an attorney?
I am.
And this attorney, help me out. When's your upcoming hearing?
It's around a month from now.
Okay. And have they run questions with you?
They haven't. When I've called and talked to them and asked them questions, they've been good about getting back to me within a day. If not that day, they'll get back to me by the next day. They said that they'll be running some questions with me probably the day before my hearing. I was hoping to hear a little bit more, and have a little bit more interaction with them. I've only talked to the lawyer once, the attorney once, but I've talked with the person who's assisting her a decent amount of times, and they've been very receptive and get back to me when I need them to.
Okay.
But I, to be honest with you, I've been watching a lot of your videos, just trying to gather as much information as I can.
Okay. So let me ask you this. With your impairments, is there any surgery, medication, or anything at all that makes it more likely that you'd be able to go back to doing a simple job?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think that's something that is. I mean, I really don't see it happening. Mm-hmm. Surgery-wise, I'd have to get probably to where I couldn't pick anything up with my hands. Even something light like a dish without dropping it or having excruciating pain. I don't want to have surgery. I already had surgery on my neck, and it did help some, but it didn't cure me 100%. So with my back injury and my shoulders, I'm really not apt to maybe go down that road unless I have to be honest with you.
Okay. Help me out with this.
Take care of here. Everyone's of age that they can do their own thing. I do my own laundry. So I walk down to the basement. It's about 12 steps. So I do, but to try to walk up, like when I worked at the secure job for 2 weeks, when I had to walk up a number of stairs, it was not easy at all. It really was very, very painful. And so, yeah, it's not easy. It's not the easiest thing to do, but I manage about once a week to take a small load of laundry down and do it. I don't take anything heavy. It's just not a good idea.
What about being able to, climb ladders, ropes, scaffolds, maybe crawl under a vehicle to fix something or grab something that got stuck? You ever do any of that stuff?
No, that would not be something I would be doing.
Okay, what's more difficult for you?
My sciatica.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So say my sciatica, if I tried to get on a ladder, I'm afraid with my sciatica, even just bending down sometimes in my one foot, I get like a bad burning sensation. I can't even think about trying to climb on a ladder or even get under a vehicle. It was not good with my neck situation and my back. It would not be good for me.
Okay. So help me out with this. What would be more difficult for you? Picking up a pencil off the floor, buttoning a button, picking a dime up off the table, or putting on a long sleeve t-shirt? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. But maybe buttoning a shirt might be a little difficult.
Why would that be more difficult than picking up something off the ground?
Well, if I was to pick something off the ground, I would be squatting down to pick it up. So, like a pencil, it's a little bigger than. Now, if you said like a dime off the ground, that would be a little more difficult than a pencil. At least a pencil, I can get my fingers around it. But like doing dexterity things with my fingers, they don't always seem to want to act right.
Are you able to walk over uneven
surface? Picking up a dime is not always the easiest thing, or coinage, or little things off the table. Even it's not that easy.
Sure.
Trying to button the button on the sleeve, it's not the easiest thing. Okay. So that's a little difficult for me.
Are you able to walk over uneven surfaces such as curbs, single steps, or getting into a truck? I know you can get into a truck, but what about curbs and single steps?
I can do that, but I have to be pretty careful about it. I know I was walking with my family we had went out to eat. This is like a year and a half ago or so. My son had come in from out of town. So we went to grab a bite to eat, and I actually went to step up the curb, and I actually kind of missed it and fell. You know, it's embarrassing. But I have to be real careful when it comes to walking up any kind of stairs or up a curb. If that's the case, I don't have to do that very often because I'm not anywhere where there's too many curbs, but it can be a little difficult. I mean, my balance too is not like it used to be. There's times I'll get up off the couch and I lose my balance, and my daughter, she'll kind of laugh and say, "What, have you been drinking?" And we just kind of laugh about it, but it's just the way it is. Sometimes I'm walking and I hit the door frame, but graze my shoulder on the door frame, and I don't know how I did that because I just don't realize sometimes my balance is just not where it should be.
Okay. All right. So here's where and do you know which judge you have? You don't have to say the name, but do you know what judge you have and what percentage passage rate they are?
From what I looked up, it looked like she had about a 44% pass rate.
Okay, so about 3% lower than what the national average would be. Now walk me through this. What are they saying about this judge online?
I can't find anything.
Okay.
Except for pass, approval. I don't see anything at all. I've looked it up, but I haven't seen anything.
What geographic regions has she practiced in? Like how?
I believe, I'm trying to remember. I'd say between 10 to 20 years. So she's been there a little while.
So that might be a chief judge right there. Okay. Gotcha.
Okay.
All right. What did your attorney say about this judge?
I haven't talked about it at all. Just talked with her assistant. Okay. That's all. And there didn't give me too much information.
Okay.
But she may when I talk to her, we go through our questions and all, it's something that I will ask her.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Just see what she says. Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this. All right. So one of the weaknesses that I see with this claim is that we're talking about joint issues. Some of the joint issues relate to pain that you feel, which affects your joint bearing issues. You also have the drop risk issues, falling, things like that. Ultimately, the problem we run into with this claim is that there is no so your back issue, right? Did they fix that? Did they go in? Did they do surgery on it?
No, they didn't. They left it as is. I had some epidurals. I had 3 of those. And I was hoping to maybe go in and have where they shaved the disc off a little bit, but the insurance wouldn't cover that. Mm-hmm. So that was back in 2006 when they had the original injury, and then when I got plowed by the drunk drivers, it made it worse. You know, everything is really just set everything off back there where it was doing somewhat better. Okay. But now it's not good at all.
All right. So then, so what I'm getting at here is that your storyline sounds more akin to somebody who can work a sedentary job part-time, maybe push to full-time. What is your explanation for why you haven't worked for the past 5 years and only having been applied for disability for 3 years?
Well, my neck injury in 2015, I had to go through physical therapy, injections in the neck, and then so I went through all that, and then 2016 I had the surgery. So physically I haven't been working, since 2015. So surgery in 2016, and then I went through after the surgery, had to heal up, went through work hardening. After work hardening, 6 months after my surgery, that's when I got hit by the drunk driver. So after that, once again, I'm back to square zero after my neck surgery because I got hit by the drunk driver. It caused the tears on my shoulder. It caused the bulging disc to get worse and causing the sciatica. So that's the reason why. So then, so after the drunk driving incident, so that was in March of 2017. So I didn't try. I've just been in a lot of pain. I tried to do things around the house, just tried to be active, and I just couldn't do it. And we financially were struggling mightily. So I told the wife, "Hey, I'm going to try to find a security job, see what I can do." So after the car accident in 2017, I went back to work in 2019 to try.
Okay.
And just 2 weeks later, I was like, I can't do this. So just trying to get better and haven't.
Okay. So now help me out with this. So certain surgeries haven't occurred. Did the SSA send you to any DDS appointments? Any,
No,
CEs? Okay. And why didn't they send you to any CEMEs?
I couldn't answer that. I don't know.
Okay. And you received 2 medical denials before, no technical denials?
What do you mean by that?
Well, medical denials are where they say, medically you're not severe enough. Technical denials are not filed, you didn't file something in a timely manner, or they were looking for something, etc. So walk me through this. Were they both medical denials where they said medically you're just not severe enough?
Yeah, I believe it was both medically. And the funny thing is, when the second went back to me, and, they mentioned in there that I also had that on my MRI, it showed that I had scoliosis. I didn't even know I had that. No one had ever mentioned that to me.
Okay.
So that was something that they brought up to my attention, but it was both medical, on the medical side of things.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, excellent. Now walk me through this. So now I'm assuming you're applied for both programs, right?
SSI and SSDI?
Yeah, I don't know how much your wife makes, but you said you were struggling, so I'm assuming. Yeah.
No, we make too much for us to get on the SSI.
Okay, gotcha. Now help me out with this. So do you know what your alleged onset date, what your attorney set it as?
Yeah, I believe they're shooting for when I had my surgery in 2016.
Okay, so we're looking at basically 4 years back. So they're using retroactive benefits. After your surgery, did they mark in your notes your improvement, and what was the improvement notation?
Yeah, I believe it was. I'm going to do some digging here and just go through some things. It was either improved. I'm thinking it was improved 60. It was either 60% or 40%, and I was told that I could go back to a light duty, I believe is what they called it.
Okay.
You have heavy, you have
medium, light, sedentary. Yeah.
Medium, right. So I think I got light. And then when I went to the orthopedic about my shoulders, he looked at the MRIs. He told me, he said, listen, he goes, I wouldn't recommend you doing anything except for you better look for some light duty work if that, he said, I don't know, what else you can do. He says, you're going to have to look to do something different. That's pretty much what he told me. I don't know if he put that in his notes or not, but.
Okay. Help me out with this. So if they said you improved, but then you couldn't do that other job, did you ever seek an alternative job other than the job or things along that line?
No, because I was still healing up from the neck surgery. I went through work hardening, and I was trying to sell my house at the time and to move south, and that's when I got rear-ended as I was moving. My van was the last bit of things I had out of my garage was in my van, and I got plowed by this drunk driver. So like I said, I was trying to heal up from that. I was going to chiropractors. I went to physical therapy, and I just didn't improve enough to try to find another job until, like I told you, I just said I'm going to try this and do the security job.
Who's working the PI claim? The car accident.
You mean from? Oh, I had an attorney. That had an attorney that I was that I knew of, so he was taking care of that for me.
Did he settle it?
Yes, I settled. Yes.
Okay. Did they explain to you what happens when you settle, and those funds that you receive, and how potentially, because not all funds are counted, but some funds are counted with settlements. Did they explain that to you about income versus resource with disability benefits?
No, no. They didn't really go into that. I just know that it wasn't taxed. I know that,
Okay.
But I haven't been talked to about what it might affect my SSDI if I'm awarded it.
Okay, something to go into with your attorney. I don't know how complex that claim was. I don't know how the funds were apportioned, stuff like that. But sometimes car accidents can be a little bit tricky. You never know what's for blood and guts versus basically just some sort of alternative payment. You never know. But something to bring up with your attorney. The reason I say that is because I've reached the 2 hour and 2 minute mark, and I have to actually go write another brief tonight before I go ahead and wake up tomorrow to a wonderful, fun hearing. But I will say this, good sir, do you have any final questions for me before I pop off of YouTube?
First of all, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to speak. You don't have to take a whole lot of time. I know you need to go, but briefly, is there anything you care with me?
I don't know what your medications are, but they don't sound like they're super duper severe based upon the testimony I'm hearing. So I'm a little worried about that. You don't have an ambulatory device, which I'm extremely worried about because I don't have objective proof that you have difficulty with walking, standing, or sitting. The other thing is that there's nothing that I'm hearing about when it comes to, limitations with alternative jobs that you've tried to do, because it sounds like you have one failed work attempt. That's basically it, where you did the security job. In a 5-year period, there should be more than one failed work attempt. I mean, in a 3-year period, there should be more than one failed work attempt. The judge is going to say, what did this guy do? Just lean back and put it on his wife. And that's what the judge is going to start to think about. Now, you got a 44% passage rate, judge, which is not too bad. That's not too shabby. But I'd have to take a look at the medical records. I'd have to see what the doctors are saying. I'm worried that the SSA never sent you to CEME, a consultative examination medical expert, because there's, what I mean? There's got to be something in there and if we're talking over a 3-year period, your attorney should be requesting that the judge send you to a recent CEME to go get some sort of x-rays on your body so they can look and see what your neck is doing,
Right.
That's what I would do. That concerns me a bit. The other thing that concerns me is I don't know when your DLI is. If you haven't been working for 5 years, then your date last insured might be way back in the day, which means you are on a mission that better be successful. Otherwise, you are stuck. Do you know what a DLI is?
It involves if you don't have enough work credits in a certain amount of time, then you will not be able to collect on Social Security disability.
Yeah, so let's say your DLI is in 2017, and if you're unable to prove, right, that you were disabled in 2016, 2017, then all of a sudden, going forward, any claims for disability benefits for you are killed off because your DLI dies, your wife makes too much, you can't get on SSI, which means you have no disability programs to go on, you got to wait until retirement. So this is actually a more important claim than you think. Yeah. All right. Well, good.
It is really important. Yeah, I'm hoping that the judge will see my side of it and approve it. That's what I'm hoping for. Excellent.
Good, sir. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Don't be afraid to reach out if you have any additional questions. Make sure you get your attorney to go over questions with you. Order a CEME from the judge. And also, if they can, go ahead and go through what your records are saying after the actual surgery and what your upkeep medical records are saying, because that's going to pretty much define essentially how good of a claim you actually have. And then please go get a prescription for a walker, wheelchair, cane, or crutch if it's applicable to your claim.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Walter.
Absolutely good, sir. Don't forget the handicapped placard. I'll catch you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, good. So, whatchamacallit, let's go through this real quick. That was a really good claim, but for a few little issues as to things that would have built it. So, we can go through that a little bit later and go into detail about it. But the thing is, we're at 2 minutes and 6 seconds. So, whatchamacallit. Okay, good. So, at this point, ... If you guys have any questions, you can always shoot me an email. Now, I think there was one question. Let me see. Tina St. Marie. Thanks, Shan. Brief moment to address it tonight. My hearing is on the 28th. Okay, cool. Let me scroll up here. Okay, let's see what we got going on. Okay. Hi, my photo return said that monetary gifts and inheritance have no weight in SSDI. Only the quarters of earned credits and or income earned during the disability period. Perhaps I misunderstood. Well, wait a minute. So monetary gifts and inheritances are not always properly, they're not set up within the federal government for them to be considered exactly that. So make sure that when these things were given to you, that it was properly set up in that, you're stuck. So, kind of the problem with that whole situation is, if you're in a situation where the person passes away, they gave you a gift, nobody's there to go ahead and say, hey, that was a gift, then all of a sudden you're stuck with an income situation, which is countable, which means they're killing off the back pay months at which you could go ahead and claim. So something to consider there. Raven Fox, are CDR questions answered too? Yeah, I can answer CDR questions if you have them. Does a disabled license plate count for something? Yeah, sure, of course it does. Yeah, it's absolutely. But make sure it's not one of those like disabled plates where it just shows a disabled vet as a picture, but is actually registered to you for being a disabled vet. Some of them have like, prisoner of war. That it has to be something that is with the purpose of showing that you are a disabled individual, as opposed to just being a picture of something that you purchased as a license. All right. I hope all's well, guys. I'll catch you a little later. If you have any additional questions, don't be afraid to reach out. I'm super tired tonight, and I had a little bit of a fiasco yesterday where, it was about 20 hornets got angry because I stepped on their hive while weed whacking. Never a good thing, but I didn't see it. So aside from the massive amount of itching and stings that I have, I'm going to go ahead and write that other brief, and then I'll catch up with you a little bit later. Have a wonderful night, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.